Morgan, and today I'm going to be reading you the rough draft / what I wrote last night, and the current working title is Broken Legs and Better Opportunities. I'm not letting you send him to a home. Her voice was unmistakable anywhere, passionate but firm like a lawyer's. The click of heels on the tile floor alerted Bryce Myrtle to Muriki's presence before her tall form appeared beside his bedside. "Muriki, darling!" He tried to stand up. "No," she insisted. "Stay there, Grandpa. The doctor said." "Screw them good-for-nothing nobody's always over-diagnosing and over-prescribing on everything. Tain't nothing wrong with me." Muriki huffed. "You don't go around falling from a second-story window and act as if everything's fine. You could have died. And at your age." "What about my age? There's nothing wrong with my age." Muriki huffed, tactfully changing her wording. "I meant to say that at your age, you know very well not to go sticking your cane halfway out of the window in order to wave at the neighbors. You're wiser than to go doing something like that." "Is that what they say happened?" "Why, what?" Her dark eyes narrowed, shrinking beneath her too heavy mascara. "What actually happened?" "I ain't telling you nothing, not here." "Well, you can't go home. Your house isn't wheelchair accessible." "What do you mean? I got round it with my cane for this just fine." Muriki held his hand, bracing to give Bryce Myrtle the proverbial blow. We had to have an inspector." "An inspector? From the government? I never consented to no search." "Violet, I'll wring her neck." "Don't joke like that. I'm serious." "I know you're not," Muriki stated, well aware that a nurse could walk in at any moment. "What the heck was Violet thinking? Letting any old government agent in without a warrant? Didn't I raise her better than that?" Muriki inhaled sharply. He hadn't raised Violet. Maybe there was reason to worry about the state of her grandfather's mind. She hoped it was merely him talking out of his ass again, something that had never been particularly unusual for the confrontational fellow. "Violet is worried. She wants to know if she'll be able to provide the level of support necessary to care for your increased needs," Muriki added, sensitive to the old man's pride. "She's never been good at that anyway." Muriki crossed her arms. "Now you're just being cross." "And I have a right to be. You'd be too if you were trapped here in a hospital bed. I ain't one to be confined." "No, you're not," Muriki agreed. Notwithstanding you have different challenges now, and you need to live in a place that is clean, tidy, and wheelchair accessible." "Clean, tidy? What in Pennsylvania's pastures are you talking about? I ain't never lived in somewhere clean and tidy. Clean and tidy my ass." I know it'll be an adjustment." "Adjustment? Adjustment? I'm about to call security on your ass. I ain't have to listen to this indignity, to have you try and hold my home hostage with all this garbage about clean and tidy. I'd never expect that from my own granddaughter." Muriki pressed his hand harder. "I'm sorry." "Sorry? You better be sorry." Bryce Myrtle was checked in his ranting by a nurse appearing at the door. "Miss, insert last name here, I'm going to need you to fill out some more paperwork." "Don't go round giving them all your personal info. They don't need that." The nurse was done with the whole situation and turned with a deadpan stare. "He's your problem now." Muriki forced a fake smile, irate at the way her grandfather had been talked about as if he weren't there. Regardless of how ridiculous one found him, he was still a human being, and it hurt to be treated as his proxy, as if he had no will of his own. "What do you mean, your problem?" Bryce Myrtle growled. "Are these all?" Muriki thumbed through the papers on a clipboard. "Yes, I'll get them to administration. Once they're filed, you'll be free to go." Still can't believe it's legal to hold me hostage like that." "You can't walk," Muriki tried to reason. "I tried to crawl." Muriki grimaced. Please what? Suffer more indignities? Please, Grandpa, promise me that you'll try to adjust to using a wheelchair." "I can get around with my cane just fine." "That was before you broke both your legs," Muriki pleaded. She checked herself before she could say, at your age. "From that height is no small matter. The doctor said you'll need to stay off both your legs for a long time." "But how am I supposed leave it then. Murky knew it wasn't worth it to try and break old, decades-fortified habits. We'll buy you something else to wave at folks if you like. But I don't want something else. I want to wave my cane. Murky's heart hurt to see her grandfather, always so animated, forced to grovel and demand from a position of no power. He was not coping with his dwindling autonomy well. I'm sorry, Grandpa. We'll have to find you something else to swing around. It won't be the same! I guess nothing will be the same, Murky conceded, the reality starting to set in. Nothing would ever be the same again. And that is end of chapter 1, which I wrote on June 11th, 2023. I'm not quite sure what date I will post this at, but yeah, I wrote this. These are some relatively old characters that they've been in my head since I was about 16, and I was like, oh, I have an idea. I'm gonna just write this down. So yeah, I hope that you're having a great day. Bye!